Thank you for joining Toastmasters International's 2020 virtual convention. The session will begin in 5 minutes. Thank you for joining Toastmasters International's 2020 virtual convention. The session will begin in 3 minutes. Thank you for joining Toastmasters International's 2020 virtual convention. The session will begin in 1 minute. Toastmasters and guests, it is my pleasure to welcome International President, Distinguished Toastmaster, Deepak Menon.
Members and guests, welcome to the 2020 Board of Directors briefing. Please join me in welcoming the members and guests around the world who are watching online. We'll begin by recognizing your past international presidents, distinguished Toastmasters all. George C. Scott, William D. Hamilton, Eddie V. Dunn, John A. Fowell, Tommy B. Richardson, John S. Noonan, A. Edward Bick, Jack W. Gillespie, Benny E. Bow, Neil R. Wilkinson, Pauline Shirley, Ian B. Edwards, Len W. Jury, Terry R. Daly, Tim R. Keck, Alfred R. Herzing, Gavin Blakey, Ted Corcoran, John R. Greiner, Dilip Abhishekara, Johnny T. Uy, Chris K. Ford, Jana B. Barnhill, Gary Schmidt, Pat L. Johnson, Michael Notaro, John Lau, George Yen, Muhammad Murad, Jim Kokochi, Mike Stokey, Balraj Arunasalam. Thank you for your commitment and dedication. And now to our past international directors. You have and continue to support our organization. We honor and thank you. To see a complete list of all the international directors who have so graciously and honorably served our organization, please click the link. Please join me in recognizing your 2019-2020 International Board of Directors, distinguished Toastmasters all. International Directors from Region 1, Naomi Takeuchi. Region 2, Joan Lewis. Region 3, T.K. O'Geary. Region 4, Larry Merrick. Region 5, Mohammed A. Qayyum. Region 6, Carol Prahinsky. Region 7, Sal Assad. Region 8, Anthony J. Longley. Region 9, Stefano S. McGee. Region 10, Tere Wallace-Wirtha. Region 11, Aletta Rocha. Region 12, David Templeman. Region 13, Sudha Balaji. And Region 14, Susan Zhou. Chief Executive Officer, Daniel Rex. Immediate past International President, Lars Doley. Second Vice President, Matt Kinsey. First Vice President, Margaret Page. International President-elect, Richard E. Peck. Later during this meeting, each outgoing international director will have an opportunity to address the membership. It is now my pleasure to welcome past international president, distinguished Toastmaster, A. Edward Bick, to remember those who have passed away in the last year.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, certainly friends all. I'm honored and humbled to have the opportunity to recognize the leaders of our organization who have completed their life's journey since we last met. It is their work that laid the foundations on which we stand today. When I joined Toastmasters, our membership was less than 80,000 with fewer than 5,000 clubs. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this guy that old, or have we really experienced that much growth? The answer is yes. As we now consider the number of countries and locations represented, one cannot help but think, but even wonder how we've been able to grow from one room and one club 96 years ago into an international family of more than 16,000 clubs, 350,000 members in 143 countries. This leads me to the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist William Longgood, who stated, "Dreams and dedication are a powerful combination." It was through the dreams and dedication, the vision and courage, and the pride in our organization that these leaders, working as one with others, were able to lay the foundation that brought us here today. Today, we specifically recognize two distinguished Toastmasters, Ruth Newsom, International Director from 1999 to 2001, and Dr. Arun Sen, International Director from 1976 to 1978. Ruth was a retired legal professional, was active in her community, and an author and writer. Dr. Sen was a retired entomologist who was also active in his community and several professional organizations. I believe that not one of us serves in any leadership role without the full support of our life partners, spouses, and significant others. I am sure each of you can identify someone in your circle who has been a strong force of leadership. Today, as we honor the memory and legacy of these two past international directors, please also remember those individuals who have helped support and define our leaders. Join me now as we silently reflect on all who have left us in the last year, including those members lost due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. President, this concludes the memoriam.
Thank you, Edward. I shall now present my report as the International President. We generally change ourselves for one of two reasons, inspiration or desperation, said author and motivational speaker Jim Rohn. Toastmasters International has experienced much change in the past 4 years. The time had come this year to take advantage of those changes to propel this organization forward. A year ago, I promised that 2019-2020 would be a year of stability, when we would bring in minimal change, when we would experience the benefits of the inspirational changes that had been made in the past years. We started the year on a positive note, and until January 2020, we were cruising along towards what would have been the best performing year in the last half decade. Then, the early information about the infections caused by the COVID-19 virus began to surface. First in China, then in Europe, and then in parts of the United States, as it became a full-blown pandemic. Even before the virus exerted its vice-like grip over the rest of the world, the board of directors, concerned about the health, safety, and well-being of our members, swung into action with agility, without panicking, and with courage and composure. The board proactively allowed exceptions to members and clubs to allow all clubs to move online. Districts were directed to conduct all their events, including speech contests, online. The response from our members, clubs, and districts was gratifying as they quickly adapted to connecting on a variety of online platforms. We heard news of how long-lost members were rediscovered and brought back into the fold to re-engage online. Another success derived from the change was the willingness of recalcitrant members to transition from the traditional educational program to Pathways. Stories of members traveling the world from their desktops, discovering meetings and members around the world abounded. Last week, I spoke with a member who had made it her mission to visit an online club meeting in every country that was represented in Toastmasters. And she has now achieved that goal. As I reflect back on the year, I have renewed confidence that our strength continues to be our unique experiential learn by doing program offered at the club and the outcome realized by our members through engagement with this laboratory of learning. However, our weakness lies in not being able to offer a consistently high quality program across the world. We need to enhance the quality of our leadership pool to ensure that the needs of our members are truly met. This leads us to the opportunity of enhancing the training offered to our leaders at all levels. Focusing on leadership evaluation will also improve leadership capabilities and provide us the leaders of the future. Increasing digitalization and automation of club and district processes will allow our leaders to laser focus on fulfilling the club and district mission. Understanding that a club is a club, irrespective of the meeting format it chooses, and allowing freedom of choice will unshackle the member and club experience. The presenters in this meeting today will provide more insight into the board's initiatives in these directions. There are also threats looming large. How long will the pandemic and its impact last remains largely unknown. With change in the politics of governments around the world, also comes a shift in geopolitics that impacts our organization. We still have a long way to go before we become a household name as the first choice provider of dynamic, high-value experiential communication and leadership skills development. We need to be prepared for the challenges ahead. Recently, I spoke to the 2020-2021 district leaders at their online district leader training. I shared with them the concept of the triple A mantra. The first A is accountability. In all the roles that we perform, whether in Toastmasters or outside Toastmasters, we remain accountable. We're accountable to those who elected us or those who appointed us. We're also accountable to the Toastmasters organization. We're accountable to our teams for creating an environment of trust, for open and transparent communication amongst them, and setting clear expectations. We're held accountable to be guided by our core values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Every decision and every action must be measured against those shared core values. We are accountable for upholding the club, district, and Toastmasters international mission. The second A is adaptability. The year gone by has taught us how critical it is to adapt and change. The coming year will be no different. We will have to continue to be flexible and be ready and willing to accept change. We need to consider strategies for success that are relevant for our present environment, keeping the needs of our members in mind. We have to find ways to enhance engagement of our current members and continue to attract new members to the fold. You will hear more about our interim strategic plan for the year ahead in this meeting. The third A is acceptance. Our organization is among the most diverse in the world. While we come from many races, cultures, ethnicities, religions, and nations, at heart, we are united as one family under the banner of Toastmasters. We may speak differently and think differently, but together in leadership, we serve our members. Our goals and objectives are identical. The online platforms we're using now have brought us closer together. As Chinese, we have come to better understand Australians. As Europeans, we have improved awareness of our African brothers and sisters. As Americans, we're better positioned to work with Indians. We have truly become one. This year, we will have the opportunity of working with strangers or with people with whom we have only a passing acquaintance. We have to decide to effectively work with them, make an effort to get to know and understand them better, find common ground with them, and share ourselves with them. This will avoid conflict amongst us and promote an environment of positivity. The AAA mantra of accountability, adaptability, and acceptance will help us achieve amazing success this year and in the future, despite the challenges and obstacles that come our way. I will be remiss if I do not recognize the staff at World Headquarters who rose up to the challenge and worked hand in hand with the board of directors, paying no heed to their personal needs or the time of day. Every decision of the board was promptly communicated to our members worldwide and implemented. Despite working from home, they continue to provide high quality service to our members. But then they had the guidance of a fabulous role model, Chief Executive Officer Daniel Rex. As a stalwart and with the astute leadership skills he possesses, Dan has been a pillar of strength to the organization and has been my partner all through the year. Our incredible team of the 2019-2020 region advisors were masterful in guiding, mentoring, training, advising, and counseling the district leaders as the year progressed and as the challenges posed by the pandemic became more apparent. We couldn't have done without their care and concern for the organization. If ever there was a time that the board of directors truly became a family, this was it. Through the tough times, the board members displayed their flexibility, adaptability, and agility as I called upon more of their time than any board has ever had to spend before. Even though the opportunities to meet in person physically were reduced, we bonded as a team and as a united family, looking out for each other in this time of need. International President-elect Richard E. Peck will soon be taking over the reins of the organization from me. I am confident that in Richard's intrepid and sure hands, the future of our organization remains secure. Thank you, members and leaders, for your belief in the Toastmasters movement and all that it stands for. We will continue to experience change as the environment changes. Let us be willing to change out of inspiration rather than desperation. And now, presenting the Chief Executive Officer's report, please welcome Daniel Rex.
Thank you, Mr. President, and greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is indeed a privilege to be part of this board of directors briefing. It is a little strange not to be with you in person, and I look forward to when we meet again. Thank you, Mr. International President, for your calm and inspirational leadership this unusual year. And thank you to each member of the board for your teamwork, thoughtfulness, and decision-making. When I was a boy, I frequently wished that I had been alive during the age of discovery. I desperately wanted to board a sailing ship from any port in the world and set out for parts unknown. I wanted to see new places, meet new people, taste new food, and experience new cultures. I imagined the amazing opportunities that existed beyond the horizon. Of course, I didn't understand that sailors set out with limited maps and knowledge and simple instruments. But I knew that they carried a vision of someplace different and focused daily on their mission. They knew discipline, sailing, and survival. They worked hard together to arrive at their destination, day after day, week after week, not fully understanding what the destination would be. The seas were treacherous with storm, deadly with calm, and rarely were the winds perfect. And yet, through all the difficulty, unimaginable to most of us today, they worked together toward their shared vision and goals. Unfortunately, my boyhood dream to be part of this was never fulfilled. By the time I was old enough to depart for adventures, the 7 seas and the continents had been fully discovered and mapped. Through the years, I've occasionally been disappointed by the lack of adventure. And then the year 2020 arrived. The year of immediate, impactful global change. The year of uncertainty and unknown. Perhaps this is the year that fulfills my boyhood wish for a voyage of discovery. Around the world, Toastmasters clubs and individual members have adapted and innovated in ways we've never seen before. The speed at which more than 2/3 of the clubs adjusted to online meetings and the skills and knowledge members quickly acquired is phenomenal. On March 31st, 2020, our count showed 364,212 members, an increase of 1.75% over the previous year, and marking Toastmasters International 26th consecutive year of membership growth. In fact, the early data indicated that the 2019-2020 year would be the strongest in more than half a decade. This simply did not come to pass. In March, April, May, and June, membership decreased by nearly 20%, and the total number of paid clubs decreased by nearly 4%. At year end, 20 districts were distinguished or better, the same as 2 years ago. The percentage of distinguished clubs remained relatively stable, potentially indicating that while the organization is now smaller than it was just 6 months ago, the remaining clubs may be strong or stronger. For more information and data, my current CEO report may be found at toastmasters.org/CEO reports. In March at World Headquarters, we quickly implemented a work from home program. While we hadn't planned specifically for a pandemic, our preparedness and recovery program supported this rapid transition. We appreciate your patience as we figured out how to work from home while experiencing, like each of you, the difficulties of the great pandemic of 2020. I anticipate that we'll return to our office building no sooner than early 21. Thank you to the leadership at World Headquarters and our entire team for their valiant efforts during this unprecedented time. As an organization, we have yet to understand the full impact of the pandemic on our members and clubs. It's likely that we'll only acquire a complete understanding after it has passed us by. Meanwhile, your board of directors has been exploring alternatives, devising and planning strategies and tactics that will ensure that we survive and even thrive. Our primary focus has and will continue to be to keep the main thing the main thing. Fortunately, our predecessors established the purpose and missions of the organization for us. These are the main things. I suggest that, as always, we turn to them when we need a reminder. Through these stormy seas, the doldrums of despair, and favorable winds and seas, when we focus on the missions, doing our best to be disciplined, we will get to the other side. All ships and all seas are different, and the timing, tactics, and efforts are up to each of us in our area of responsibility. But sail we must. Staying below decks and avoiding the unknown is not an option for leaders. Opportunity awaits us through the storm and on the other side. Toastmasters International and the clubs thrive in times of economic uncertainty and reemergence. The board of directors and the World Headquarters team stand ready to support and assist as we work through this storm together. I look forward to continuing to work with you during this journey. Mr. President.
Thank you, Dan. Presenting the report of the Strategic Planning Committee, please welcome immediate past International President and Chair of the Committee, Distinguished Toastmaster, Lark Dooley. Please welcome Lark.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Strategic Planning Committee began work on the 2020 Strategic Plan during the 2018-2019 program year. The committee continued a robust planning session at their November 2019 Executive Committee meeting and continued that planning with the Board of Directors and World Headquarters senior staff from March through June 2020. As a part of this thorough planning process, the Board of Directors confirmed that the 3 strategic pillars of the 2015 Strategic Plan, Club Excellence, Member Achievement, and Awareness, Engagement, and Participation, should continue in the 2020 Strategic Plan, with the addition of a 4th pillar, Operational Effectiveness. We also modified the name of the 3rd pillar to Awareness and Engagement. In July 2020, it became undeniably clear that due to the continued pandemic and the significant future unknowns, a long-term strategic plan for the organization could not be completed. Therefore, in August 2020, I led the Board of Directors and World Headquarters senior staff in a series of strategic planning exercises to identify the top priorities to stabilize and strengthen the organization. This interim plan will be released this week and will be updated as the global environment changes. The members of the Strategic Planning Committee are Deepak Menon, Richard E. Peck, Margaret Page, Matt Kinsey, and Daniel Rex. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the Strategic Planning Committee.
Thank you, Lark. Presenting the Executive Committee report is International President-elect, Distinguished Toastmaster, Richard E. Peck. Please welcome Richard.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 2019-2020 Executive Committee met Friday through Monday, August 7th through 10th. The following are the results of our discussions. The committee reviewed and discussed the report of the 2019-2020 International Leadership Committee, which included recommended improvements to international campaigning and election processes. The committee reviewed proposed modifications to Policy 9.1, International Campaigns and Elections, and recommended that the board adopt the proposed amendments. The committee discussed best practices in managing board committees to yield maximum results to move the organization forward. The committee reviewed and considered proposed modifications to Protocol 4.0, Intellectual Property, that would unify messaging and enforcement of web-related procedures and regulations in order to protect Toastmasters International and its intellectual property and brand image, and our members from abuse. The proposed amendments to Protocol 4.0, Intellectual Property, were adopted by the International President and Chief Executive Officer with concurrence of the International President-elect. The financial effects of COVID-19 are unknown for the program year July 2020 through June 2021. As such, the Chief Executive Officer will exercise an exception allowed within Protocol 8.4, District Fiscal Management, Section 4.b, in which the district membership dues allocation would be based on an amount less than the previous program year's numbers. The committee discussed and recommended that the board approve reducing the 2020-2021 5% district expense allocation charged to districts as outlined in Policy 8.4, District Fiscal Management, Section 4. The committee reviewed the district reformations that will take place on July 1st, 2021. District 60, the City of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, south of Dixon Road. District 86, Southern and Western Counties of Ontario, Canada. And District 123, Northern and Eastern Counties of Ontario, Canada, and the City of Toronto, north of Dixon Road. The committee reviewed the district reformations that are scheduled to take place on July 1st, 2022, Districts 41 and District 98. The committee recommended and the board approved Provisional District 114 progress to full district status retroactively, effective July 1st, 2020. The committee reviewed district boundary adjustment requests from Districts 81 and 109. The committee is heartened to see the enthusiasm and dedication of the leaders and members from clubs in both districts. The committee will continue to monitor both districts and will review again at its March 2021 meeting. As many of you are aware, the Executive Committee meets virtually throughout the year and in person in August, November, and March. Several items that may be of interest to you were decided earlier this year or in discussions culminating at this meeting. The International President, along with the Chief Executive Officer, established these working groups during the year. Change Management Working Group, led by past District Director Jean Gamester. Prison Club Working Group, led by International Director Mohammed Qayyum. And the District Conflict Resolution Working Group, led by past International President Chris Ford. Chris will be presenting the report of the working group later in the briefing. The committee reviewed and discussed a recommended process for granting districts, provisional districts, territorial councils, or groups of clubs permissions to translate Toastmasters material into new languages. While Toastmasters World Headquarters maintains centralized control of the processes, and Toastmasters International maintains ownership of intellectual property. The committee also reviewed and discussed proposed modifications to Protocol 4.0, Intellectual Property, Sections 3E and 3F, that would remove reference to the traditional education program, incorporate pathways, and enable the new translation processes. The modifications were adopted by the joint authority of the International President and Chief Executive Officer, with the concurrence of the International President-elect. The committee adopted a proposal to work with colleges and universities to research and validate the effectiveness of a modified Toastmasters Club model. This model may include a special college club status with an alternate calendar and a 10-week coordinator-led Toastmasters certification program. The members of the executive committee are Deepak Menon, myself, Margaret Page, Matt Kinsey, Lark Doley, and Daniel Rex. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the Executive Committee.
Thank you, Richard. I now invite First Vice President, Distinguished Toastmaster Margaret Page, to present the Board of Directors report. Please welcome Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 2019-2020 Board of Directors met Friday through Monday, August 14th to 17th. The following are the results of our discussion. The board voted to allow district business to be conducted online. The board also decided that all area, division, and district speech contests must be conducted online and that participation options for all district events must be provided. The exception is effective through June 30th, 2021. The board will review these exceptions no later than April 2021. The board approved to maintain all current policy exceptions related to club online meetings and business through June 30th, 2021, and that the board review these exceptions no later than April 2021. The board voted to allow districts to charter online clubs effective for the 2020-2021 program year. The board reviewed a comprehensive draft proposal of a new district recognition program. The board deferred this decision pending the completion of the district leadership roles, responsibilities, and evaluation committee. In April 2020, the board voted to make certain allowances regarding special meetings devoted solely for prepared speeches, also known as speakathons, to increase speaking opportunities for many members. The board approved extending this exception through June 30th, 2021, effective immediately. As many of you are aware, the board meets virtually throughout the year and in person in August and March. Several items that may be of interest to you were decided earlier this year or in discussions culminating at this meeting. The board voted to update the Youth Leadership Program and Interpersonal Communication Program by combining them into one new program that would more closely align with the Pathways learning experience. The next phase of this program would be a pilot conducted in specific geographic areas worldwide. The board received information on Toastmasters International current and future cybersecurity status. The board recognizes the ongoing nature of cybersecurity risks and the necessity of maintaining proper protections and protocols. To support and provide the safest environment possible for our members during the pandemic, the board extended on-time renewal credit for the April to September 2020 semi-annual period to April 30th, 2020. Extended paid membership benefits for all paid clubs and members to April 30th, 2020. Directed World Headquarters to organize a series of webinars for members in any location around the world. Directed each district to conduct its annual district council meeting online rather than in person. Instructed that no area division and district in-person events, including district conferences, be held on or prior to June 1st, 2020. Authorized each district executive committee to determine whether they will continue to conduct or cancel speech contests for the 2019-2020 contest cycle. The board is aware of the significant impact the coronavirus has had on individuals and communities around the world. The board extends its sympathy and compassion to those who are and may be affected. Mr. President, this concludes the Board of Directors report.
Thank you, Margaret. I now invite past international president and accredited speaker, distinguished Toastmaster, Jana Barnhill, to present the report of the International Disciplinary Committee. Please welcome Jana.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, the International Disciplinary Committee acts as a subcommittee to the board as described in Article 3, Section 13 of our international bylaws. Since January, the committee has conducted 2 disciplinary hearings. The first resulted in the committee recommending to the board that the charged member be removed from good standing from Toastmasters International. The second resulted in the committee recommending to the board that the charged member be removed from good standing from Toastmasters International, that all educational and leadership awards earned by the charged member be revoked, and that the charged member be instructed to remove all mention of Toastmaster involvement on any and all social media, both personal and professional. The Board of Directors approved all recommendations for both individuals. The International Disciplinary Committee is not a fun committee on which to serve. When we meet, it is for the purpose of discussing very serious matters. It is important that our members understand when the governing documents, when the core values, when the standards of this organization are disregarded and abused, there will be consequences. I am privileged to work with 9 committee members who take to heart and take very seriously the duties and the weight of this committee. They go above and beyond, rendering due diligence to see that this organization and its members are protected. Those committee members are co-chairman, past international president John Greiner, and past international directors Steve Chin, Pamela Christopher, Kevin Doyle, Bruce Franzen, Wendy Harding, Pamela McCowan, Dick Poirier, and Alan Shaner. In addition, this committee could not function and complete its work without the incredible support we receive from our World Headquarters staff liaisons, who spend countless hours doing research and compiling all of the background information and materials we need. And those 3 amazing women are Kristen Kuriosis, Mona Shaw, and Brandy Roman. You 3 have our deepest gratitude and appreciation. Mr. President, that concludes the report of the International Disciplinary Committee.
Thank you, Jana. To present the report of the Policy Review Committee, please welcome Second Vice President, Distinguished Toastmaster Matt Kinsey. Please welcome Matt.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Policy Review Committee was assigned the responsibility of reviewing policy recommendations received from a variety of sources to reduce the time spent in crafting and editing policy language during board meetings. The following specific policy protocols have been approved by the Board of Directors. Due to United States Internal Revenue Service regulations, Protocol 8.4, Section 8 was amended. The purchase or use of third-party gift cards or other cash equivalents are no longer acceptable as use for incentives. Districts may continue to use Toastmasters gift certificates as incentives. To assist district leaders with the scheduling of interviews with international director candidates, Toastmasters International will provide a scheduling application that candidates may choose to use. This was previously facilitated by past international director Mike Rafferty, and we are grateful for his efforts. World Headquarters staff will ensure that the application is provided by no later than April 22nd for nominated candidates and within 7 days after receiving notice from 4 candidates. Candidates will be responsible for the configuration and maintenance of their individual calendars. The board is introducing a new document to assist club and district leaders to properly address alleged policy violations in a confidential and effective manner. This policy violations quick reference guide addresses the most frequent questions related to alleged violations at the club, district, and international levels. It is intended to help leaders and members navigate the process and any issues if they arise during their Toastmasters journey. The guide has been adopted as a part of Protocol 3.0 and will be released later this year. The board has also made several changes related to the qualifications for district leadership positions. The district administrative bylaws have been amended to require a minimum length of district membership prior to running for elective office, prohibit members from holding multiple DEC positions concurrently, and exclude members from running for district office in 2 or more districts during the same election cycle. Those who currently hold more than 1 DEC position will not be impacted for the current program year. Finally, the committee was given the responsibility to review current policies related to districts and online clubs and determine if any changes would be needed at this time. More than 13,000 clubs have indicated in Club Central that they are now meeting online or in a hybrid format. The board has made the following decisions effective as of the current Toastmasters program year, along with the required policy and protocol amendments. The board has changed the definition of clubs allowing online attendance. Policy 2.0 has been amended to state that regular club meetings are conducted in person, online, or as a combination of the two. Districts are permitted to charter clubs who intend to meet entirely online. Clubs may designate that they now meet entirely online without the need to recharter. Their district membership will remain the same. More information related to district and online clubs will be provided to district and club leaders in the coming weeks. Members joining me on the Policy Review Committee included Joan Lewis, Carol Prahinsky, Mohammed Kayoum, Naomi Takeuchi, past international directors Teresa Dukes, Christine Tamblique, George Thomas, staff liaisons Angela Menninga, Danielle Mitchell, Mona Shaw, and staff liaison support Kristen Curiezas and Keith Schaller. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the Policy Review Committee.
Thank you, Matt. To present the report of the District Excellence Committee, please welcome back First Vice President Page.
Thank you, Mr. President. In recent years, many districts have not reached the minimum goals to achieve distinguished status or better under the District Recognition Program. Some districts seem to focus more on district management activities than leading and inspiring the district, training and motivating the District Executive Committee, and ensuring that the clubs are providing an excellent Toastmasters program. The District Excellence Committee met to review the strategies and tactics used by successful districts around the world to accomplish the district mission. The committee's goal was to encourage all districts to use these strategies and tactics. This review covered 36 districts across all 14 regions who have achieved various levels of success as defined by the District Recognition Program. The committee interviewed past leaders and reviewed district success plans to identify 26 proven strategies and their associated tactics that have been used by the most successful districts as measured by the District Recognition Program. Multiple strategies have been identified for building new clubs, leadership and team development, communication, member growth, and club excellence. We anticipate that district leaders who use these proven strategies and tactics will be empowered to make successful choices, simplify their success planning, allow for faster action, and boost confidence toward achievement in the District Recognition Program. The success strategies and tactics were introduced to the districts for inclusion in their 2020-2021 district success plans. We have already received positive feedback about these strategies. Going forward, the Region Advisor team will maintain the list of recommended success strategies. The committee envisions that these strategies will be included in a fully automated, web-enabled district success plan system in the future that will provide for guided plan creation, approval, evaluation, modification, and tactics being implemented in the district. Members of the District Excellence Committee included Matt Kinsey, Anthony Longley, Stefano McGee, Aletta Roche, Naomi Takeuchi, Ture Volasverta, Susan Joe, past International President Balraj Arunasalam, past District Directors Shane Cooper, Andy Hammond, Frank Soro, World Headquarters Staff Liaisons Jonathan Lamb, Greg Wingrove, and Sandra Munez. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the District Excellence Committee.
Thank you, Margaret. To present the report of the Prioritization Committee, please welcome back International President-elect Peck.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Prioritization Committee was tasked with reviewing the recommendation from previous board committees, evaluating the status of those recommendations, and then prioritizing them as appropriate. The committee's goal was to properly prioritize these recommendations in a way that would help align them with the organization's strategic goals, better allow World Headquarters to allocate funds and resources to those with higher priority, and to manage the pace of change in the organization. The Prioritization Committee recognizes that regardless of the rankings, there may be unforeseen situations that could possibly result in lower ranked items being implemented sooner than higher ranked ones. Through an initial evaluation process of the 215 recommendations under consideration, the Prioritization Committee was able to determine the status of these recommendations as in process, complete, relevant, or no longer relevant. Once the committee determined that the recommendation was still relevant, it was worked through the prioritization flowchart in order to determine whether or not to move the recommendation to the priority scoring module or to the parking lot list for future review and consideration. The priority scoring module allows recommendations to be scored 1 through 5 within 3 major categories: strategic value, financial value, and internal capacity. Additionally, there are several subcategories within each major category, which helps to further break down and strengthen the scoring. 35 recommendations were ultimately scored and ranked using the recommendation decision matrix. The Prioritization Committee is confident that the scoring and rankings of these recommendations are accurate given the current global environment. Through the course of completing this assignment, the committee determined that there were areas of process improvement that would benefit and enhance the work by future prioritization committees. 10 recommendations were presented to the board for consideration and possible implementation. Additionally, the Prioritization Committee believes that prioritization is not a one-time event and should be conducted on an annual basis to help ensure that recommendations are in alignment with the overall organizational strategy. Members of the Prioritization Committee included Sal Assad, Anthony Longley, Aletta Roche, Susan Joe, past International President Mohammed Murad, past International Directors Jim Coley and Tracy Thomason, staff liaisons John Bond, Angela Cunningham, Sam Faragian, Kate Wingrove, and staff support liaison Amber Villa. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the Prioritization Committee.
Thank you, Richard. Now to present the report of the Club Leadership Roles and Responsibilities Committee, please welcome back immediate past International President Dolly.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Club Leadership Roles and Responsibilities Committee continued its work from the 2018-2019 program year. The committee was tasked to complete a gap analysis of the current club officer roles, a modification to club officer roles as necessary to support more clubs in successfully fulfilling the club mission, and developing criteria to evaluate and assess each club officer's leadership abilities. The committee was composed of board members from around the world, ensuring a global, in-depth review of the issues that many clubs face in recruiting members to serve in club officer roles, the inequity in the division of work across club officer roles, and the need to evaluate the leadership skills of our club officers to strengthen our club leaders going forward. The committee considered the various types of clubs that exist within Toastmasters throughout its discussions and decision-making process. The committee identified the necessity for flexibility in the club officer model to meet the diverse needs of our clubs. The committee presented an enhanced future club officer model to the board of directors, which was approved. This future club officer model combines a set of required club officer roles with a set of elective club officer roles designed to meet the specific needs of each club. The committee wants every member to be well informed about these changes and to understand the benefits that these changes will bring to our organization. In the coming months, we will communicate this future club officer model to each of you and look forward to your feedback. In addition to the proposed enhancements to the club officer model, the committee also developed a set of evaluations and assessments designed for the current club officer roles and for the proposed future club officer roles. These evaluations and assessments were developed to help leaders identify their areas of strength and areas for improvement. The committee believes that utilization of these evaluations and assessments will strengthen the leadership skills development of our members, support greater club success, and provide real-world transferable skills in leadership and in giving and receiving feedback. As speakers and communicators, we improve through the feedback we receive from others. As leaders, we also need to receive feedback to improve. A 30-day new member survey was also developed by this committee to provide club officers with insight into the experiences that a new member receives in our clubs during their first 30 days as a member. The information gathered from these surveys will allow club officers to identify and address any areas for improvement in club quality that may be needed. The 30-day new member survey and the club officer evaluation and assessments forms will initially be made available in downloadable PDF forms that you will be able to print, fill out, and store locally for your information. In the future, the committee envisions a fully automated online version of these forms that can be stored online within the member profile. The members of the Club Leadership Roles and Responsibilities Committee included myself and Richard E. Peck as co-chairs, international directors Sudha Balaji, Joan Lewis, Larry Merrick, T.K. O'Geary, and David Templeman. Past international director Mary Morrison, staff liaisons John Lurkwin, Danielle Mitchell, and staff support liaison Andrea Palmer. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the Club Leadership Roles and Responsibilities Committee.
Thank you, Lars. To present the report of the District Leadership Roles, Responsibilities, and Evaluation Committee, please welcome back First Vice President Page.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our district leaders play a key role in the success of our member clubs and Toastmaster International. The description of district leader roles and responsibilities do not fully reflect the work they do. The committee recognizes the inequity in the division of work across the district leader roles, the overlap of some roles, and the challenges some districts experience in succession planning and recruiting district leaders. Consequently, the district leadership roles, responsibilities, and evaluation committee was formed to conduct a gap analysis to identify missing clarity in district leadership roles and to modify district roles as necessary to better enable districts to fulfill the mission. In evaluating potential future district leader roles, the committee used the following criteria: future focus to meet the challenging needs of our organization, equitable workloads across roles, leadership development focused, adaptable to districts of varying sizes and types, understandable to leaders aspiring to serve in district leadership roles and to transfer those skills and competencies into their personal and professional lives. The board referred the district leadership structure to a future committee to be further developed. The committee developed a process and forms for evaluating and assessing each district leader role. The evaluation and assessment forms will help leaders identify areas of strength and improvement in order to grow as leaders, just as our members receive feedback and grow as communicators. The committee believes that the use of these evaluations and assessments will provide real-world opportunities for leadership development. The evaluations and assessments will initially be downloadable forms that you can print, complete, and store locally for your use. In the future, the committee envisions a fully automated online version of these forms that can be stored online within the member profile. Members of the District Leadership Roles, Responsibility, and Evaluation Committee included my co-chair, Lark Doley, Sue Dabology, Larry Merrick, Stefano McGee, TK O'Gary, David Templeman, Ture Volasverta, past Region Advisor, Monica Rose, past District Director, Andy Hammond, and Staff Liaison, Jonathan Lamb and John Lurquin, and Staff Liaison Support, Amy Bodfield and Andy Tong. Mr. President, this concludes the report of the District Leadership Roles, Responsibilities, and Evaluation Committee.
Thank you, Margaret. I now invite past International President, distinguished Toastmaster Chris Ford, to present the report of the District Conflict Resolution Working Group. Please welcome Chris.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, fellow Toastmasters around the world. It's my pleasure to present this report on behalf of the District Conflict Resolution Working Group. Now, you may well ask, why a District Conflict Resolution Working Group? Simple answer is because we have conflict in some of our districts. This has been happening over many years, and the organization has decided that it's time to get at the roots of such conflict and design ways of preventing it or resolving it should it arise. So let's get to the meat of the matter. The assignment was given to me by the international president a year ago when we all met in person in Denver. And I was asked to put a small group together to discuss and find ways ahead regarding district level conflict. Here's the task we were assigned. There's a lot of words there, so I'm going to leave it there for a moment or two for you to absorb. Yes, there's enough there to keep us busy for quite a while. Simply stated, the task is fix it. So with that in mind, we decided on an approach to fixing conflict as best we could. We decided that we needed some evidence-based information with which to work. So we did a survey of region advisors. We analyzed that data extensively, developed some conclusions about the causes of conflict, assessed the impact of conflict on our districts, and then came up with some recommendations for the way ahead. We concluded that there are two main categories of conflict: interpersonal and performance-based. And within interpersonal, we saw this, that there is disrespect, mistrust, and either individual or mutual spite. And you would well understand that when these things are present, it's difficult for a team to work together. There's performance-based conflict, where members of the team may fail to execute their assigned responsibilities, or not be accountable for what they have done or not done, or no respect for each other's roles. In other words, letting people to get on with their jobs. So keep that in mind. Interpersonal, performance-based, two primary causes of conflict in our districts. Several impacts that we determined from the information available to us. There's a significant amount of time spent resolving conflict. And time spent resolving conflict is time not spent on enhancing relationships and getting on with the job of the district mission. We've encountered many instances where a district leader has been either removed or chose to resign because of conflict. So that's a great loss of leadership within our districts. Likewise, some leaders are just discouraged from moving into district leadership positions. Some just don't want to go ahead or don't want to get started on the leadership track in the first place. So that's another loss. When time is spent in conflict or resolving conflict, again, it's time not spent on accomplishing the district mission. We have yet to see what the correlation might be, but nonetheless, it stands to reason that when people are distracted by conflict, they're not focused on the primary mission of their leadership position. And we think there may also be a potential impact on Toastmasters brand, where leaders are made. We need to think through the role of leaders, especially with respect to resolving conflict effectively. So those are some of the primary impacts that we have seen through our work to date. The future work. Well, first of all, both the outgoing and incoming international presidents have requested us to continue our work in the 2020-21 Toastmasters year. And of course, we shall do that. Our intent over the next year is to conduct a survey of district leaders. As mentioned earlier, we've already surveyed the regional advisors who are close to the action. Even closer are those who've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So we will be designing a survey to gauge the experience of district leaders, primarily past district leaders, with respect to conflict. We believe there's scope for developing training for district leaders in trust, conflict analysis and management, and dealing with divisive behavior. And I think the more that we can focus on these kinds of training, the better the organization may be in terms of preventing conflict in the first place. We see the need for a facilitator group as an additional resource. This group would consist of a number of subject matter experts who have qualifications and credentials in conflict management and conflict resolution. And this would be an additional resource to assist with conflict when presently available resources are unable to do so or don't have the time to put in on such conflicts. We believe we need to strengthen support for regional advisors on how to respond to managing conflict. Again, the regional advisors are often the first contact or the first people to become aware of conflict in the districts, and to the extent that we can support them in dealing with conflict, the better off our districts will be. And finally, to take a comprehensive look at current models for resolving conflict, yes, those provided by Toastmasters International and others, and come up with a model that will enable our district leaders to get at the conflict problem as early as possible and as informally as possible and as locally as possible. So those are some of the initiatives that we'll be working on over the coming year. There are others, but more to follow once we get further into the work of this working group. It's been my pleasure to lead this working group on behalf of Toastmasters International, and I'm indebted to those who have stepped up to the plate to be part of this initiative: Sal Assad, Case Bruce, Jim Coley, Monique Levesque-Farrell, Mary Morrison, Neil Wilkinson, and Jonathan Lamb, our staff liaison, and there are many others at World Headquarters who have contributed to this effort. So thanks to all of these people. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. More to follow in the months and the year to come. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chris. It is now time to hear from each of our outgoing board members. Please welcome from Region 2, Distinguished Toastmaster Joan Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 years ago, when I was running for international director, I told you that I was fired up. After speaking with the district leaders for the week of campaigning, I was even more fired up. And now, after working with the board of directors for the past 2 years, I'm just lit. Frances Hesselbein, former CEO director of the Girl Scouts, said organizations exist to make our strengths effective and our weaknesses irrelevant. I witnessed this concept as the board members learned to work together as a team. I believe that this was the hardest working board in the history of Toastmasters. I am so proud of the work we have accomplished. Shout out for the leadership evaluation systems. And then the pandemic hit. Under the calm leadership of our president, the board kicked into high gear. We had one purpose in mind: serving the needs of our members. I am amazed at how our organization adapted to accommodate the changes brought about by COVID-19. Our organization is becoming better and stronger because of the leadership from the international president to the club officers. What a privilege it's been to serve the board this year. I thank you for the opportunity. And I thank all of my mentors for helping make my strengths effective. Thank you to the district directors who showed me such hospitality. As I lead the board, I hope my fire will light others with the desire to become the best that they can be. And always remember to stay fired up, because Toastmasters is where leaders are made.
Thank you, Joan. Please welcome from Region 4, Distinguished Toastmaster Larry Merrick.
Mr. President, current and past board members, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I want to thank all of you who have mentored me and provided feedback to help me grow over the past 13 years. When I started my Toastmasters journey, my focus was on leadership development. And over the years, that focus has slightly changed. You see, it was not just about me, it was about helping others grow along with me. That growth opportunity continued to evolve in the power to serve. Serving members in my home club, Money Talks, members in my area, division, and district. Then, by you electing me as International Director in Chicago, joining the board, the focus was on serving you, the members from around the world. Throughout these past 2 years, I've made a lot of wonderful memories, from working on committees with my fellow board members to visiting districts, spending great times with all of you. As members got to know me, you know I speak from the heart. And for the rest of you, you just know I love to dance. Those that know me well, you know that I'm a people person. And 2020 has brought some fun times and some hard times. Unable to spend time with others in person has been tough. It was friends, board members, and Toastmasters like you who helped me through it. I must not forget one especially important group, and that is the wonderful team at World Headquarters. Thank you for everything that you do. I want to thank my daughter Hannah for allowing me to take the time away these past 2 years to serve on the board. And with saying from the bottom of my heart to all the members out there that are watching, a huge thank you.
Thank you, Larry. I now welcome from Region 6, Distinguished Toastmaster, Carol Prahinsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ralph Smedley created this amazing, well-structured organization that allows us to have that experiential learning, and it results in self-confidence and professional development. Leadership skills are further developed during times of turmoil. COVID may have been an instigator. As the airports and the hotels emptied at the time of our March board meeting, we knew what our priority was. It was you, our member. In appreciation, I want to thank you. I want to thank our members also for entrusting me with the responsibility of this important role as an international director. For the members of Region 6 and across the globe who shared their passions and concerns with me. My mentors and committee chairs for their wisdom and leadership. And to most important, closest to my heart, my husband, Fleming, who remains supportive throughout my crazy schedule. Thank you. The time commitment of serving on the board is significant. COVID did not provide a luxury of pausing. We had board meetings, committee meetings, subcommittee meetings, and the preparation for all of these meetings. We had district trio calls with amazing region advisors. And we had conversations amongst our board members who were role models and inspirations for me. Leaving this productive and supportive team who helped tweak my leadership, it will be hard for me to do. I loved serving in this role. Thank you. Toastmasters is where leaders are made. Leadership is about practicing our skills, developing a vision, enhancing a strategy of our organization, implementing that plan, and then establishing a connection and compassion to support each other through this process. I encourage you to aim for your goals and accomplish them. It is only through the tough times that we become skilled leaders. Ernest Hemingway wrote, "The world breaks all of us. We grow stronger in the broken places." We are strong. We are Toastmasters. Mr. President.
Thank you, Carol. Please welcome from Region 8, Distinguished Toastmaster, Anthony Longley.
Mr. International President, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As you can see from the national flags on the screen, the Board of Directors of Toastmasters International is like a mini United Nations. I've been privileged to serve a diverse group of individuals, a fusion of nationalities, cultures, ethnic backgrounds, and various accents of the English language, all coming together to form one dynamic board of directors. Years from now, when I reflect on this experience, I will always be proud that I played a pivotal role in this board's responsiveness to the unique needs of you, our members, that were brought about by this coronavirus crisis. It has been a profound privilege and honor to serve you. I could not have done it, however, without the support of so many individuals. First, I wish to thank the 2018-2019 Board of Directors, led by International President for that year, Lark Doley. What a golden team it was. And the current team, 2019-2020 Board of Directors, led by International President Deepak Menon. Indeed, it's the crowning glory. Of course, we have our CEO, Daniel Rex, and the amazing team at World Headquarters. When you put these three dimensions together, I've learned so much from every unit. All of those who supported me by serving as my mentors, my campaign manager during my election to office, and everyone who assisted. And most of all, you, the members, who supported everyone on this board by casting your vote to get us here. Thank you so much. It has been a tremendous pleasure serving you. Those in Region 8, the districts that I had the distinct honor and privilege of supporting, along with the region advisors who served you. Thank you so much. And I'll be remiss if I were not to mention my home district of District 47, the district that prepared me to serve you. I'd like to thank my wife, Jackie, my daughters, Antonia and Alyssa, for their support and for putting up with the many hours that I was away doing Toastmasters business. My home clubs, First Bahamas Branch and Healing Communicators, thank you for your support. And all of the past leaders and current leaders who have reached out to support and to undergird. Thank you so much. Matt Kinsey couldn't have done it without you. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of this great organization is the most important element. And I'm here to serve you continuously on the board and off the board. Thank you again for your confidence and goodwill, and continue to enjoy this dynamic conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Please welcome from Region 10, Distinguished Toastmaster, Ture Wireless-Virta.
Mr. President, fellow board members and guests, I come from a country that is known for its people who are able to quiet down in 3 or more languages. Finland is also known for movements, and one of the characters is Invisible Child, who arrived Movements carrying a Tinkerbell necklace. Movements accepted her, they respected and listened to her, which made her feel safe. As she gained confidence, she became gradually visible, feet, legs, and torso. However, her face remained invisible until she learned to express her true feelings. There was a time when I quieted down in several languages and felt completely invisible. I joined Toastmasters, and you accepted me. You respected and listened to me. I learned to speak up in 3 languages and felt more visible. However, my face remained invisible until this term as International Director, when I was able to express my passion to Toastmasters. This spring, I didn't only express my true feelings, but also lived them with you. The frustration to see your goals distancing by 2 feet, the concern for the safety of our members. I was amazed that despite of any 2 feet distance, we connected even further. And I was delighted when you demonstrated that 2 feet was no obstacle for reaching the goals. I'm humbled that I was accepted to serve you on the board. And I thank every single person who have helped me on the way. Now, I'll take the back seat, but I will be there with you in encouraging new generation of Toastmasters to speak up and helping them to become visible. Mr. President.
Thank you, Ture. Please welcome from Region 12, Distinguished Toastmaster, David Templeman.
International President Deepak, ladies and gentlemen. The saying goes that time flies when you're having fun. And for me, the last 2 years have flown by in a heartbeat. To two incredible presidents, Lark and Deepak, thank you for your wisdom, your guidance, and your impact on my life. To all my friends on the board and the incredible staff at World Headquarters, I thank you for your service and your dedication. I will never forget you. And finally, and most importantly, I thank you, our members and our leaders. I might not know you all by name, but I know who you are. You are the heart of this organisation, the person that always attends your club meetings, that is always the first to greet a guest, and that always looks after and cares for our members. Thank you. The first 18 months of my board experience, I guess, has been normal, with work and decisions regarding the long-term success of Toastmasters. These last 6 months with COVID-19 has created a more flexible board of directors as we adapted to the changes confronting us all. Yet I believe the greatest changes have occurred for you globally. For in the space of a few weeks, the world changed for our club and district leaders. The hopes and dreams of becoming distinguished disappeared almost overnight. And for some of you, this must have seemed unfair. Yet I never heard one word of self-pity. Instead, your focus changed to looking after our members, ensuring that club meetings went online and that our members' needs were met. In the process, you, our club leaders and district leaders, guaranteed the future of this wonderful organisation. For that, I am eternally grateful. I feel incredibly lucky and privileged to have had the opportunity to serve on the board of directors, and I will treasure this forever, Mr. President.
Thank you, David. Please welcome from Region 14, Distinguished Toastmaster, Susan Zhou.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear Toastmasters and distinguished guests, 2 years ago, when I was asked, why do you run for international direct? I replied, because I am beautiful. And during the past 2 years, I discovered more beautiful people in our organization. Thank you, my mentors and EC members, led by Dr. Dolly and Deepak Menon. You lead by example and show me the value of integrity. You encourage and teach me to think forward and speak up. You support me to overcome challenges and cheer for my progress. Thank you, my fellow board members. You show me the value of respect. We are so diversified. I used to be afraid of different opinions and interpret it as conflicts. But you open my mind, open my heart, and open my will with whole trust. Can we have another debate? Thank you, World Headquarters staff led by our CEO, Dan Rex. I must salute you because you show me the value of service perfectly. And you are amazing and invaluable partner in both good and bad time. Thank you, region advisors and district leaders. You are excellent because you never give up. Despite of all the difficulties caused by COVID-19, I see you become more creative and lead our clubs and members to realize our dreams. As our founder, Dr. Smedley said, here we are with tremendous opportunity before us. I challenge you to go to work to bring us up to a high level of service. I believe that everyone in our organization have great potential to discover. I encourage and be humbled to serve leaders from China, Region 14, and all around the world to serve our organization and members. I am blessed to serve you as your international director. And all the best wishes to you, my beautiful Toastmasters.
Thank you, Susan. A big round of applause for all of our outgoing international directors. Thank you for your service. Please join me now in welcoming our Golden Lady, immediate past International President, Lark Doley, to share her memories.
Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." Mr. President, you have modeled the golden changes that our organization could make in spite of a global pandemic. In March of this year, I used the adjective courageous to describe you. And then after our CEO decided to use a nautical theme in his report, International Director Rocha decided to combine these two, and now we affectionately refer to you as Captain Courageous. The past 5 years have gone by in the blink of an eye. As many of you know, I live in a lighthouse home built by my late husband, Roger, in honor of my dear father-in-law, Arthur, who served in the Royal Navy in World War II. Both of these British gentlemen, Roger and Arthur, loved the sea. So it is appropriate for me today to also take a nautical theme as I say farewell. My course in leadership has been a lengthy one, and it has been a mainly uncharted one. I journeyed to many ports, but they were never ports that were planned. I have had a longer leadership journey than many of you. This leadership journey has only been possible because of the encouragement of others. When is the last time that you encouraged one of your members to step up to club leadership, to district leadership, to regional leadership, to international leadership? It is our responsibility to identify future leaders, to educate them in the opportunities for leadership in our organization, and to mentor a new generation of leaders. Where leaders are made begins with us. And that is my journey in leadership. Do you remember your first area director? I do. Of course, back then they were called governors. Carol Brzezicki, she inspired me to want to be an area governor. Then Bill Dunn inspired me to want to be a division governor. And then Gene Riggs inspired me to want to be a district governor. And then I met international directors Art Nieto and Dee Dees. They inspired me to want international leadership opportunities. And when I served as an international director, I served with Jana Barnhill, Jim Kakachi, Gary Schmidt, and Pat Johnson before they were international presidents. What an esteemed group of leaders to inspire me and to encourage me. And then I've had the privilege to serve on the executive committee with past presidents, Mohammad Murad, Jim Kakachi, Mike Storkey, and Balraj Arunasalam. And the executive committee currently, Deepak Menon, Richard E. Peck, Margaret Page, Matt Kinsey, and Daniel Rex. Every president serves 7 years on the board of directors with 7 different boards and 7 different presidents, all charting their own course. But what is a constant is the Toastmasters International Ship's crew, the highly talented, highly capable World Headquarters staff led by the stalwart CEO, Daniel Rex. I have to leave you with a note of gold. Gold, G and old. I think I'll start with the old since I have grown old in Toastmasters. The O stands for opportunities that abound in our organization. Everyone can learn from our organization. That takes me to L. Listen, to learn, to lead effectively and wisely. Both communication and leadership skills begin with listening. D, dedicated to your own personal and professional growth, and then dedicated to the personal and professional growth of others. And the best definition for DTM is dedicated to mentoring. D stands for dedication. And finally, the G. So throughout my Toastmasters career, I have said that G stands for goals, and it does. We want every member of our organization to achieve their goals. But G also stands for gratitude. This year, Margaret Page has taught me the true meaning of the word gratitude. We need to start with gratitude, even before the goal. It has been a golden honor to serve this organization, and I am grateful to each and every person who has touched my life. It began in the Today Toastmasters Club. My first home district, District 56. My second home district, District 55. And to every member of every club, every district, every region around the world, I leave with golden moments, golden memories, and golden gratitude to all of you. The highest honor this year and the highest honor of my final year is to have served with Captain Courageous and this incredibly courageous board of directors and world headquarters staff. Mr. President, I will never forget the year of Captain Courageous. And now, back to you.
Thank you so much, Lark. Here we are with tremendous opportunity before us. I challenge you to get to work to bring us up to a higher level of service. Let us share with others the benefits we have gained for ourselves. These words of our founder, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, have never rung more true. Thank you, members and guests, for joining us today for the board briefing. And we hope you enjoy the first ever virtual convention